the prize of all, they're all precious, of course they're all precious, but the prize of all for me was a book by a Dutch master calligrapher called Cornelius Theodore Boissens. I have 39 pages of the 48 in this book. Doing a little research, there's supposedly only 17 copies in existence of this book. However, I don't think mine would rank there up in the fine ones because all the pages have been trimmed, and I'm sure that just influences the value it's considered. But I'm not at all interested in the monetary value. My value is in the connection with a calligrapher from many years ago. I can look and see what he did, and again, sorry for being told that he all the time. We do have another gender, but generally in those days there were mainly male scribes, so that's how I keep saying he. So, and then there were miscellaneous pages, and I wanted to know a little bit more about how this box arrived here in Vancouver. And the woman running the store said, well, this is the deal. The man who brought them in is a plumber from Winnipeg. I thought, well, that all connects them. Now I know what it's all about. And she said, his brother in Vancouver had died, and he'd come out to settle the estate. And going through all his belongings, he found these boxes of books, and paper, bits of this and that. He had no idea what it was about, what value it might have. So he'd been shopping it around. And he'd taken them to a couple of places in Vancouver, and one of them had said that he would give him $1,000 and take the box off his hands. Now, he may be a plumber, but it doesn't mean to say he doesn't have some smarts. He thought, well, 1,000 here, maybe the next one's 2,000. He did a little more rushing around the city to find other opportunities. Part of which was there were some old maps, some old geology survey maps in there. They alone sold for $28,000. This man had been a collector of things on paper, be it maps, be it pages from calligraphy books, be it books themselves. This had been what he'd done, and he just assembled all this stuff, and of course, I have the same feeling. When I go, my kids are going to look in this box as if just some of dad's old papers. You know, they really will, because they don't have what we have, which is that little more understanding and a connection with just how these little pieces, how important these little pieces of paper are. For me particularly, I can pick up any one of these pieces here and look at it for hours and still find things that amaze me and intrigue me and impress me. Whether it's the level of skill of the hand-done ones or the level of skill of the engravers. Sadly, what we're seeing when we see a page reproduced in one of these books is not the original calligraphy, it's how the engraver has interpreted that. And I know myself, if I do a flourish, and it's not really a very good flourish, I have to live with that flourish. If I knew it was going to be printed, I would do a lot of touching up, tickling up, and you know, maybe these days someone will put it in Photoshop for me and say, how much would you like to change the curve on that? And I say, well, just a little tweak here and there. Similarly here, this is what happened. But Cornelius Theodore Boissens also was the engraver. So I'm sure he ticked up a lot of the things on his own pieces to make them the very best, of course. What is it I'm looking for when I look at these manuscripts? Let me just get on. Again, this is 16 pages here consecutive. Normally you find them individual pages. And then obviously you can see they're music, they're antiphonals. They're just a small personal copy that maybe two people would share as opposed to a tiny little one that would be a personal one. Now for me, what is more interesting about this than anything, that in the 16 pages here, there are 12 errors. Not errors that I've detected because I understand Latin, I do not. But errors where I can see the calligrapher has made a mistake and have to go and scrape it out and do it again. Or the supervisor of the scriptorium has come around afterwards to check, found an error, noted it in the margin, sent it back, Now, out of 16 pages, 12 errors, that's not very good average, is it, really? Think about it, if we did that in our jobs. You know, if you're working in a bank, out of 16 transactions, you get, you know, that number of mistakes. I don't think that would go down very well. I've also indicated on the sleeve that these are in where these errors are, so you can look through, take them out like I've done here. Don't feel awkward about handling them. You know, it's okay. They're strong. It's vellum. It's tough stuff. And the ink is smudge proof. The black is at least because they would have used in that day an ink made from oak galls and iron salts, and it's an encaustic. It would really burn into the surface. So if I were to wet my finger and try and smear this, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't smear, which is a good thing. The red would, but we can work around that. You don't have to search for the errors on the back page. I know you can't see from there, but horror of horrors, they had to redo 3 complete lines here. Not just one word or one letter. 3 lines had to be erased and rewritten. There's another piece in here, another page, this one here, where they scraped so hard, they actually went right through the paper and the vellum and had to stick a patch on. You know, it's like mending in a tube on a mic. So, that is very human. It makes me feel so good when I make a mistake. And I say, yes, well, just, you know, there's a precedent to this. We're supposed to make mistakes, I think. Anyway, I've noted on the thing here, what did it say here? And the calligraphy doesn't always stay good quality. It changes from page to page, and sometimes you'll find 2 different scribes have been involved, and I've noted where that happens as well. What's this on the back here? Yeah, you'll see the mess. I don't look at the mess on this one, and you'll find the mess. So there were 16 pages, and I showed them to a friend of mine who for a while was a monk in a real monastery in England, and he said, this is actually from a service that is only for Easter. So I gathered little bits of knowledge all the way down